for Coach.
Coach, the ACCAD's voted to keep the 8-1 today. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we've been 8-2 forever since I got here, so I doubt it'll change our model. I mean, that's what it's been since I came here, so that's good, I guess.
You would have preferred that to the 9?
Actually, I preferred probably to stay the 8-2 just because you get to play a cross range of Power 5 teams. If you'd have gone to the 9-1, the only non-conference Power 5 team that you would have played would have been UGA, except for when the years you had Notre Dame.
Right.
And they're also exploring the 10th assistant aspect. Thoughts on that?
Well, we've been trying to get that for a long time. I think that if you look by sport, football probably has the fewest coaches of any sport per player for the number of players on the team, and it's probably the highest velocity, more physical, more demanding, at least on your body, sport there is.
Is that one of the things you keep in the back of your mind? If they pass it, I would add X, Y, or Z, or you just look at where your staff is at the time if they pass that?
Well, I think if they pass it, what most people would do if they haven't already is, you would probably go to a full-time special teams coach. That's what I think everybody would probably do.
And then they're also talking about limiting the number of camp days and locations of camps.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think that's taken a life of its own.
It
It's
seems
preferable to have your camps on your campus, because what happens, from a recruiting standpoint anyway, you want to get the kids on campus. And, if you have to travel all over the place, then it's hard to get them on campus.
That's especially important here, I imagine, because a lot of kids they think Atlanta,
Yeah,
city school, and they don't know what the campus is really
right.
like.
Yeah, exactly. Once they get up there and they see the grass and see some stuff, they're really surprised sometimes.
They're talking about also the early signing period, June, December, and then I guess February.
I think it's good.
Is June too early for that? I mean,
No.
Okay.
Because here's the thing that everybody forgets. Nobody has to sign in June. So if the kids are ready and they want to do it and they want to get it out of the way, great. If they want to wait until December, okay. If they want to wait until February, okay. But it's like, what it does is it keeps people, both sides, it keeps the kids and it keeps the school from not honoring their commitments. I mean, that's what happens, and most everybody who's, holier than thou against it are the same guys that go back and take other people's commitments in the last week,
With Mills getting better as the season goes on, having the ability to get in the end zone, having the ability to get first downs on short yards, does that take away the necessity of using someone like Matthew Jordan like you did in the beginning of the year?
Well, to this point it has, but we'll see Matthew back on the goal line stuff again probably. We haven't been down there.
Yeah,
The few times we've gotten down there, we've scored in one play or, and it's been back on the 6 or 7 yard line as opposed to the 2 or 3 or where we really get into that stuff.
With the going no huddle last week, you had some success with that again. Looking forward, do you feel like it's something where you've got to kind of find your own rhythm watching it and setting your...
I have no idea what we'll do. If
guess
I did, I wouldn't tell you.
No, but I'm saying when you use it, is there some rhythm to how you have to get those calls in to get that?
Not really. I mean, I'm not trying to get the rhythm. We're trying to get the best play for the best alignment. And truthfully, I think that our quarterback can do that. He's played enough. He's pretty good at doing it. Where we were struggling a little bit is we weren't getting in and out of the huddle fast enough, and now that makes us get out of the huddle, so he's got time to see. We've got time to look and see.
So you feel for the most part you got into the right play because of
Yeah, I
your
think we were
ability to do that?
into the right play for the most part. I mean, there's always one or two, but for the most part, I think we were in the right plays.
Nearing sort of the mid-season mark, how do you feel about your team health right now in terms of injuries?
We're actually pretty good. We're way better than we were a year ago, not even close. So that part of it's actually pretty good. We just got to go play better.
It seems like defensively you've had opportunities to play a lot of your younger guys at a time. Some of those guys played at least on par, or sometimes better than the guys who were ahead of them. Is that kind of...
Who are you talking about?
Like Antonio Simmons or...
Antonio's done really good against the pass. He's been pretty good rushing the passer, getting some pressures, and he's a work in progress on the run and staying in his gap and not running under blocks and some of those things. And he was really good a week ago against a non-mobile quarterback that's going to stay in the pocket. You can do some of that. You get guys that scramble and run, and you get out of your rush lane. It creates big problems. But I was happy with the way Antonio. He's playing hard. Yeah, so he's going to play a lot. I mean, he's been playing a lot.
And Jalen Johnson
And Jalen played 4 or 5 snaps. He didn't play much last week, but he's been practicing well and doing good. And season goes on, he'll probably get more opportunity.
and your young corners.
Well, they had to play. We had guys out, so that was a mixed bag there. So it's still a work in progress.
Having to move Lance around too, besides.
Yeah, because Step was out, and that created a vacancy, and Lamont played pretty good the week before, and not as good this time, and so then Dorian went in, and I think Dorian's got a good future, but he hasn't played much, so you just got to mix and match back there.
You mentioned about, I'm not sure if it was you, but one of the coaches mentioned that AJ is, you don't hear his name mentioned as often, and getting in on plays. What do you see from that?
I think he's been solid, but I personally, I don't think he's probably made as many plays as he would have liked or whatever. But he's not played poorly. I mean, he's been solid. He's just for whatever reason, Corey ends up with more tackles and more assists, and he's a little more active.
On the offensive line side, taking out the 2 bad plays in the Miami game, do you feel like you're seeing the progress you were seeing after the Vanderbilt game, that the Clemson's more of who they were playing and then?
Well, we played poorly against Clemson, and like I said, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
But we played poorly. At times in the run game, we were better against Miami. They were as good inside as where we struggled against them is on the perimeter sometimes. But you'd like to think they're getting better. We'll know as we play. We've played some pretty good defenses. I mean, it's just a fact. It's not an excuse. That's just me telling it like it is. We've played some pretty good defenses. It's still no reason for us to not be better on offense, but played some pretty good teams.
Pitt's, who they've played, has been kind of peculiar in terms of they've played a lot of throwing teams. So is it harder to kind of gauge where they're at defensively?
No, I think that they're very. He does a good job with his zone blitz scheme, and they're an aggressive defense, and they're going to come. They run blitz. You're going to get stunts and blitzes. You just got to be ready for them because you're going to get them.